Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. All right, so the first thing I'm going to point out is something I pointed out in the Weevil update last night, which was that we had extremely low volume yesterday on SPY and QQQ. As you can see on QQ, you had comparable volume to this day over here, this day, and this day, over here. And what was the similarity between all these days? We didn't stay where we were for very long. All right, you can see right here, you can see right here. All right, you had a rather large move coming out of these spots. All right, I'm not saying that is going to be the same this time, but you come over here and look at SPY. We also had this low volume on the day yesterday. And the last two occurrences of that low volume, comparable volume, would be this day right here. I guess you could say right there. And then we have right here. And after that, you did end up seeing a $5 move to the upside. Over here, from the high of that day, you did end up seeing a $7 move to the downside within days. So I don't think this time is going to be much different here. We do have FOMC and big tech earnings after the bell today. So I'm obviously, I'm not surprised by this. All right. I will not be surprised at all if we get a decent sized move to the upside or the downside, which is why I personally think, hey guys, during times like these, when we know we have no idea of the results of these catalysts that come out, we don't know what's going to be said on FOMC. I mean, rate hike, that's one thing you could speculate on, but we don't know how the market's going to react to Jerome Powell. On top of that, we don't know how the earnings are going to come out. I'm actually going to flash this right now. All right. I want to point out people are betting big on Microsoft. I'm not really seeing any big orders to the downside here for earnings on Microsoft and Google. And I'm just putting it out there. These guys are either going to lose, a very large amount of money here betting on the upside, or, no one's benefiting from the downside. So I don't know. I just thought I'd show that. You have a $600,000 order right here on Microsoft, which I think is that is pretty cool. All right. But yeah, all right. So we don't know the outcome of these. I think it's best to keep your position sizing smaller. All right. Let's say you normally use 2% account, use 1%. Let's say you normally use 10%, use 5%. All right. You normally use 5%, use 2.5%. So you might as well just not take on the most risk here. I think most traders, I don't know for a fact, but I'm going to take a stab at this one. I think most traders make up most of their losses on the days that are chop. Now, what do we have? We come down here to the 5-minute time frame. You have chop. All right. You don't have this trending market like we had over there. You don't have this trending market like we had over here. What you have is a bunch of back and forth. Even though you're slowly making your way up here, it is still just grinding out. And if you are playing with contracts with short expirations or even long expirations, because we probably have the IV built into these events, you are going to be chopped out of your freaking mind. And I just don't think it's worth it. That is what I want to point out. I don't think it's too much worth it. All right. What I will point out over here is you do have Rivian. All right. I saw a big order come in for Rivian this morning. You are in a flag. So if you want to play like smaller things, like we were playing Neo yesterday on the Discord over there, if you want to play the smaller tickers, hey, like if you see big stuff coming in for them, big flow, like, hey, that's unusual. All right. But like, there are a lot of big bets going on right now, and I'm just going to point out nobody knows the results. Maybe some big whales know the results, but us everyday Joes here, we don't know the results. We really don't. So we might as well do our best to not lose money on these days that we just, like it's either going to be chop or you're going to have a big move in one direction or the other. You might as well not be someone's exit liquidity down here, or like say we get that big pop and you're trying to chase it. Just wait for your setups. That is what I'm getting at. All right, let's get into the analysis. I know I took a lot of time there to go over that, but I think that is very important as traders in this market that we should, very much so focus on not losing money on the days that, it makes sense. Just take a step back, All right, so we did point out, we're going to start over here on SPY. We did point out yesterday that you were in this bear flag formation. And I want to point out that you were right now at the very top of that bear flag formation. I was watching this on the 30-minute chart. I don't know if you're going to get a close above there, but what I was also paying attention to yesterday was a 15-minute close above this level right here. I actually did flip the zone. I originally had the zone right here, but you can see, sellers push it down there. So we had that, but now we do have the 15-minute close above this 454.77 level right there. And what did we say yesterday? That opens up the door to 456.07. I understand not a lot of movement. And that's why I was saying, hey, all right, there's, you have good reason to just sit back and relax for now until you see what is going on. We don't have a clear as day trending market. There's that. I'm also going to point out right now, VIX is green on the day, and we could just come over to the daily chart. VIX is green on the day, but SPY is also green on the day. Now, if that closes like that, we do have an 85% probability that we do have a down day on the S&P 500, SPX, and SPY over the following two trading sessions. Now, why does that signal exist? Because why would VIX be up as the S&P 500 is up? People are loading puts. Big money, the people who can move Mr. VIX over there, are loading puts as SPY is going up. SPX, that's actually what it goes off of. Regardless, that is the only reason that would be the case, is because calls are being sold into this rally and puts are being bought into this rally. Now, do the whales know something that us everyday Joes don't know? I don't know. All right. Like I said, we all honestly, like even the whales, I saw a lot of big stuff go down on Amazon. Guess what? Amazon completely tanked, all right? After, millions of dollars of premium went into that. Probably after Microsoft had its little pop over here, all right? So, I saw that. I think it was this day right here on Amazon. So people were probably just trying to catch the next one. So even the big guys don't know what they're doing half the time. So that's something to keep in mind there. But above here, guys, we are watching 456.07. And then if we do fall back underneath here, we are going to be watching, first of all, this trend line here, which could make up our bear flag or ascending channel, whichever way you want to look at it. But if you want to add a little flagpole, there's that. And then you come over to QQQ. All right. And then we are, right now, we're kind of in this rectangle formation here, which also you can look at this as a bear flag. You can look at this as just your channel that you're in right now. Whatever, whatever bias you want to have in the market, go ahead and take that bias, all right? All I'm going to be watching for is you get a break upwards out of there, and you don't have much resistance here. So that's what I want to make pretty clear here. You have this intraday gap over here at 385. We'll just look at this, 385.30. So that is something that we can watch for resistance on the upside. But above this level here, 379.93, you will not really have anything. So if we do start getting a 15-minute close above here, you'll have this minor resistance right here, but above there, you have room all the way to come back all the way up to 386.50. All right. So you break above 379.93, minor resistance over there at 381.50, and above there, you have $5 of upside. So, guys, this aligns with our big move we were talking about, the potential big move, because we had the low volume yesterday. Like, it was extremely low volume if you just look at the daily time frames over here on QQQ and SPY. Yes, we had this, but this was a half day. There was that. And then SPY, you could see we also had that low volume over here. Guess what? All right. Moving on. All right. Moving on. On the downside over here on SPY, obviously, like I said, we're watching the bottom of this ascending channel / bear flag here. And then underneath that, if you were to come down and break down, then we are going to be watching 452 and then 451.50. Now, I still personally do believe, I guess I don't believe, I think, all right? Because at the end of the day, I got no idea, just like you got no idea where this thing's going to go. We don't have these crystal balls. I think SPY is very likely to come down here and tap 450. Why? Because it did not get a pullback, all right? You got what is this, a $4 to $5 pullback here, if I'm just going to look at this. Oh, it's actually all the way up here, right? Yeah, so a 450 pullback. That is not, something in comparison to what we just had here. That is not, this not a lot. Now, what we did also bring up is that we had a fib on this. All right, so let's just take it from there to there. And I told you, if we're going to have a strong uptrend continue, all right, that is where you were going to be wanting to see a bounce off of the 0.236 or the 0.38 Fibonacci retracement right there. What did we come down to? We came down and bounced off that 0.23. So there is the chance that we continue up. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just going to say I think upside is very limited, and you're probably going to stall out in the supply zone if you do get up there. You're going to have a lot of resistance. Obviously, if you do end up getting above 462, that is when you open up the door all the way to 473, and we are on our way to all-time highs. Do I think that happens without that decent size pullback? No, I do not. All right. We literally had Apple. I'm on the wrong ticker. Apple over here with a weekly. Let me just take everything off. I know it's a mess. These are all the tickers that I am watching throughout the day. But yeah, we had a gravestone doji candlestick like this. And, the last time we really had conditions matching this, the closest we got to it was up here. You had shooting stars up here. And I would say right here, you had a shooting star. And then this is really the biggest one that I can point to is right here. You had a shooting star candlestick right here at the top, another reversal candlestick up there with your bearish divergence on your RSI, the weekly RSI in overbought territory. I still think we get a decent sized pullback. Not saying it's going to be the biggest thing in the world, but over here on QQQ, we do have this gap left open on 368.63, which I think is likely that we do come down there as long as SPY comes down and at least taps this 450 mark. It still hasn't. So, anything's possible, guys. We either go up and stall out, likely stall out in the zone up here, 457 to 462, or we come down and we come find buyers at 450. And if that is broken, we'll see what FOMC has to say about that one. Then we are looking at the breakout level of 443.90 down there, and then the gap at 442.97. We are going to see what happens. We all have no idea what happens over the following few days. Microsoft and Google earnings are after hours, so let's just take a look at Google real quick. All right, again, we got the same indecision candlestick we had yesterday. You came down and bounced off of this demand zone. You come over here. You had this demand zone. You bounced off of that. That also acted as a back test here. If you do see a swift move down here, I do think that you are likely to find buyers coming in here. But if we do that, I am actually going to point out that you could have this going on. Boom, boom. What is that form, guys? Head and shoulders. All right. So, guys, the possibilities are endless. That is what we will keep you all updated here on the channel. If you are new around these parts, feel free to join the community. We will keep growing. And in a few years, guys, maybe over the next year, we'll be at 10K, 15K, whatever it may be. All right. We're going to have a big old community here, having a jolly good time in the market, because at the end of the day, guys, you got to enjoy what you do, and what we do is the market. All right. With that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.